Hey guys, good afternoon. I am going to recap and run through some of the trades that I had taken yesterday after that bull run and took off today after the bears finally showed up. I was short on ES and TF, and I was also long on crude this morning for a quick spike, and wanted to recap, all three. Well, I guess technically four because we're one Nadex trade too. So the first thing that I wanted to highlight was that we were having such a strong bull run up on TF yesterday that I wasn't long anywhere on TF. I was long ES, but I was starting to look for targets, reversal points, things that would indicate to me that we were starting to slow down and we were starting to get excuse me, a bit overbought and ready to roll over, and we were hitting structure. Now that's tough to find when you're trading at the new highs, but it's not doable. If you can wrap your mind around that, it's not doable. You can find structure to trade against. So for me, what I was looking for was something very simple. I was looking for, we had an established low, right? Zoom in a little bit. We had an established low right here. And I don't know why it's not snapping. There we go. So we had an established low. We also had a nice oscillation up after a nice bull run down. And from here, I was able to take upper trend line. So we've got a little bit of a wedge that had formed and broke out of it and then back into it. And so now we've also got the negative 23.6 lining up with this this low here up to its high and back down to the 78.6, which you can see held nicely a couple of times before shooting the bulls off. You can see that we've gotten a lot of we have a lot of confluence there. And so on the first test of that negative 23.6, we have the bears that just showed up and quick, and so that candle gave me some confidence to enter. Now I didn't enter there. I waited for price to come back up and test where I was looking, test the levels that I was waiting for. And so I ended up grabbing a short entry here. It was 14.15. Is this one? 14.15.20 was my entry. So 14.15.20. So I got 14.15.20, which was right around here. My stop initially I had up above all of this structure at roughly 14.18. And then it was just management, and it was letting it ride, right? I was ready for, this to roll over, because look how overbought that was. I was just ready for the bears to show up. And then the 4-hour was also, at that point in time, ready to just hammer on the bears. And you can see it was ready to turn over. So for me, I was ready for momentum. We had traded into structure. I was ready for the momentum to roll over. And that was just about management and picking my targets. So we broke down underneath all of the structure, and then we came back up, and the negative 20.6 held. So that's when I pulled my stop down to in profit. So I pulled my stop down roughly right around there, and there was just going to be waiting out my trade. So find your fib start, your impulse move start, pull it up, and I was looking to get out right at the 50% retracement, which I did. Actually, I started it right at the right at where the gap up happens. Right there. So I got my fib from gap up to the high, and I ended up taking my profits off directly at 50%, which you can see is held just about all day. And so that one was 27.40. So I ended up pulling just under 3,000 on that one. So 27.40 for there. Now let's move on to ES. I was also short ES because of this. So you've all seen the recap, hopefully, of my long on ES and where I decided to take profits. Well, where I decided to take profits, I also decided to go short. And so, as we were testing this weekly, and I will reiterate, weekly broken trend line, we were starting to get some bears. So if you pull down to the 4-hour, this is what I was looking at. I had a 4-hour trend line that had been broken and was now being retested. I had a weekly trend line that was broken and now being retested. And so as we were doing that, I entered this one off of the 4-hour chart. So I entered here at the test of that weekly trend line, And you can see that this was literally a structure trade. There was no fibs. There was no support and resistance. This was a structure trade. We had broken structure. We were retesting structure. So I entered there. I had my stop up here. So I got in at 2400 quarter. So I had my stop at 2406 quarter. And then once we broke down underneath this trend line here, started to move down, I pull my stop right here, I pull my stop in profit, and I just let price do its thing. And I had my take profit in mind, right? I posted well in advance that this trend line right here was kind of where I was looking for a take profit. I took profit right at the first test of that trend line. And that one for me, so that one, 2400 quarter down to 2385 quarter, was an even 3,000. So just between those two trades, just under 6,000, so 5,700. Now let's move on to crude, which was a much simpler trade. There was no, you can see it's already come back down and tested the levels, but all I looked at for crude this morning was strong support right here. A perfect 61.8 retracement, and we had some nice trend down. So we had a nice little lower trend line there. And so for me, I entered right at the top of all of this. If we scroll into the hourly, this was a quick scalp for me. Well, I say that relatively loosely because I scalped it with the daily contracts and some futures. So I got in right here, tested these levels. I got in pretty much right at the bottom, and I took profit on everything right as it tested this 50% retracement. So I watched it ping pong between the levels because they were substantial enough that it was for some good profits. So I ended up grabbing a daily 52.5. I still had 4 hours left. It's a 2:30 expiration. I still had almost 4 hours left before my contracts were dead at $430. And you can see that that's well below where price was. I didn't pay too much for them either, which was nice. I think I risked 68. And then on futures, I took profit right here, right just below 53.20 for two contracts. I got in at 52.70. You can see just dang near the bottom, 880 on that one, so just under 1,000. So I'm not going to do the math to bring up the grand total because I don't really care enough to do that right now. I'm not great at math anyways, but just a couple of quick points. Finding your structure and keeping it simple can affect your trading greatly. There's no need to sit there and just rely on indicators, because guess what? Yesterday when that bull run happened, they were all saying sell. So there's no reason to do so. You know where to sell if you just step back, take you know where to enter based on structure, higher time frame analysis, and just really giving yourself an edge. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'm always happy to answer, and I will post this shortly.